Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favorite TV shows that deal with time travel. You guys, I am a sucker for a good time travel TV series. Ooh. And yeah, I think I have personally some good recommendations here, my personal top 5 when it comes to time travel shows. So let's get going. At number 5, Timeless. Timeless ran for 2 seasons. It was actually initially canceled its first season, but then fan uproar brought it back for a second season, but then fan uproar couldn't bring it back for a third season, unfortunately, which was very upsetting. But yeah, the 2 seasons of Timeless that we got, they were just absolutely brilliant and creative. I love them. If you don't know what the TV show Timeless was about, it took place in like our contemporary world, and there's there's a group of characters. They all work for like a time travel agency, and it's their mission to like stop this other rogue group of other time travelers who are out there trying to like mess with history and destroy history because they're trying to do something that will affect like current modern day society. It's all big mystery, and it's all very vague and shadowy and whatnot. Like a lot of stuff kind of dealing with the government and whatnot. So yeah, we have a trio of characters who they get in their little time machine. It's a janky looking thing. We have 3 of our main protagonists. They are constantly traveling in and out of time, going to different time eras and whatnot, historical eras, and they're trying to chase after the bad guys. Essentially, the bad guys are always up to something, somewhere in time, trying to do something. Like the very first episode of the show has to do with the Hindenburg. The bad guys, for whatever reason, are trying to do something with the Hindenburg. And yeah, there's another episode that deals with like the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. There's a great episode that deals with like Hedy Lamarr. What in particular I liked about this show, not only was it just really fun and engaging and just really seriously likable characters, I also like the fact that this show, it kind of took it took its own little unique approach to time travel, that it didn't visit like big major historical moments for the most part. Yes, there were some big moments in there, but a lot of times the show really liked to zone in on and focus in on lesser known people and lesser known events in history, that oftentimes history books will neglect or kind of just skip over in some ways. And yeah, a lot of times there were episodes that would focus especially like on women or on people of color, people who have been neglected through history and their voices have not been heard. So that was my big thing that I loved about this show. It's kind of its own unique spin on telling history, and yet really pushing certain voices kind of to the front, and letting them have time to shine, and how our trio of modern people, how they kind of interact in these historical eras and with these historical people. I consider Timeless to just be super fun and whimsical. Yeah, I was devastated when it got canceled for the second time because it could have definitely had a third season for sure. At number 4, Doctor Who. Of course, Doctor Who is going to make this list. What kind of list without Doctor Who, for a time travel list? A Doctor Who follows a Time Lord who is only ever called the Doctor, and the Doctor, he's always, in his time machine. The time machine is called the TARDIS, and he always has like a companion or two that joins him on his adventures, and they just go to random places in history, whether that's in history, or it's in the future, or yes, something that's happening in contemporary modern society. The time traveling in this show is not like stagnant. It's all over the place, which is refreshing for this type of show. It's not just like a historical period piece. You get stuff with the future and the present and the past, and it's all really wonderfully blended and melded together and into something, cohesive and fun and understandable. And yeah, Doctor Who has ran for a very long time. It just recently had its 60th anniversary last year, So yeah, it's still going. And we've had a lot of people play the Doctor. Yeah, in most recent years, we've had Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant and Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker. And yeah, we have the new guy, Judy Gatwa, which I'm loving so far with just the couple episodes we've had of him. So yeah, this show is constantly always growing and expanding, and like I said, it's not stagnant with its storytelling. I don't think, because you get past, present, and future, and it's kind of the same too that with its cast, it's never stagnant. Every couple seasons, we get a new cast to keep things fresh and to keep things new, and it really works to the benefit of the show. Like I said, the show has been on for 60+ years. You need to do something new and fresh and exciting every so often. So yeah, of course, Doctor Who is going to make this list. At number 3, Bodies. If you have absolutely no idea what Bodies is about, I'm going to try and keep it really short and simple and to the point, because the less you know about this show, the better. Bodies is a limited series that's on Netflix currently, and here's the premise of this show. It's great, you guys. It is absolutely wonderful and mind-blowing. The show follows different detectives from 4 different eras of time. So we have like a detective in the 19 we have a detective in like the late 1800s. We have a detective in the 1940s. We have a detective in like current modern day society, and then we have a detective that's in like the future, I think in the 2050s, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 4 different detectives. Here is what connects all of these detectives, because you may be thinking this is a lot. It kind of is, but wait for it. What connects all of these stories and all these detectives is that each of these detectives, in their own current timeline, they are investigating this death of a man who is in an alleyway. And the thing is, this man who is dead, in every single time era, he is laying in the exact same alley. He is laying in the exact same position. He is naked every single time. And yet, who is this guy? You know, how does he connect to all 4 of these very vastly different eras in time and whatnot? And it's up to these detectives, to kind of figure out the pieces and the clues. And yeah, will they eventually figure out it has something to do with time travel? That's up for them to kind of figure out, because you, the audience, are kind of more aware of what's going on than the characters are at the start. So it's all very vague and mysterious and fascinating and interesting. And I loved the concept of this show, you guys. So I thought the concept of this show was absolutely brilliant, and it worked, and it never got overwhelming or confusing, I don't think. So that was a big plus. At number 2, Outlander. I love Outlander. You guys, I love the books by Diana Gabaldon. I love this show. It is coming to an end, unfortunately. I think we have like the rest of the current season and then like one more season after that, and then it's over. Tragic, yes. If you have no idea what the Outlander series is about, like I said, it is based off of a book series by Diana Gabaldon, and in season 1, we are introduced to a woman named Claire. Her and her husband are going on a second honeymoon to Scotland, and this is like taking place like post World War II and whatnot. And yeah, they've kind of been separated through war for several years. So yeah, they're making this second honeymoon trip to Scotland. And it's here in Scotland that Claire kind of ventures out, and she finds these standing stones, and she goes up to them, touches one, and all of a sudden she finds herself transported back to Scotland in the 1700s, kind of at the height of like the Jacobite rebellion and all that craziness, and yeah, clan wars and whatnot. And yeah, Claire is stuck and trapped here in the 1700s in Scotland, and she has no allies, no friends, but she does fall in love with hot, tall, red-headed Jamie Fraser. Ooh. And that's kind of the bulk of this show. It's all about Claire being stuck in the past, and will she ever get out of the past? Yeah, her love story and romance with Jamie Fraser, and yeah, her complicated, conflicted feelings about her relationship with him, considering that she is a married woman. You know, this show is just so gorgeous to watch. It's very cinematic in scope on occasion. I love the writing and the directing and the cast that they always pick. And yeah, this show covers like decades. You know, like like I said, the show originally starts during like the Jacobite Rebellion, and like currently in the show, because I think it's like at season 8 or something like that. Currently, we're at like the American Revolutionary War. You know, so yeah, this show is covering decades of time, and yeah, there is moments of time travel elements in there, not just with Claire's character, but with yeah, without spoiling anything. Yeah, there's other characters that kind of weave in and out of the eras too. So yeah, I love this show. And at number one, if you haven't guessed it already, because I gushed about this show so much last year, Dark. Dark is a 3-season show that's on Netflix currently, and it is finished, and it is a German made production, like all German crew, all German cast. And what you need to know about Dark, this is kind of similar to like the TV show Bodies. The less you know, the better. Dark takes place in a small German town in like the modern day, and in this small community, there's like the disappearance of a bunch of boys randomly. And so we have like a young man who's kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and we have like the local police that are trying to figure out what's going on with these missing kids. And like I said, trying not to get too much into spoilers here, but what eventually does happen on this show, there is a big, huge time travel element that starts to get interweaved into this show. And so at some point in this show, you have characters that are going back to maybe the 80s or to the 1800s, or yeah, there's even stuff that's happening like in the future at some point. There's a lot that's going on this show. And seriously, there's a reason why I have Dark as my number one favorite time travel show, you guys. This show, because there's seriously not a flaw to it. A lot of times when you're watching things that deal with time travel, sometimes you can almost see where writers are getting really confused in their own lore and their own mythology and their own logic that they've set up, you know? Because time travel it's a tricky thing, and you got to deal with paradoxes and stuff like that, you know? And it's a really tricky thing to kind of navigate around when you're dealing with time travel, because if you do mess up with something, your audience is going to pick up on it probably faster than you, the writer. So Dark, I feel like Dark, it never had any problems like this. Even if you thought it maybe had problems, the thing is, by the time you get to like the finale of the show, there's just all sorts of things that weave together, like back from the first season, and you're like, oh my god, I forgot about that. I can't believe they're bringing this back up, you know? There's just so many fine, intricate details to this show that I absolutely freaking loved. This show has just so much depth and nuance. It treats you, the viewer, as intelligent, you know? It, it doesn't over-explain, you know, that's kind of the thing too. It doesn't really over-explain anything to you. You have to kind of figure out things on your own as well, and really read into things, and I love that about this show. So this show is definitely like very smart and intelligent, and while you're watching it, you got to be kind of up there as well. So yeah, if you have not seen this show yet, please watch it. Dark is just absolutely spot on perfect from start to finish. It's going to be an emotional journey with these characters, and yeah, the ending is going to be, it's going to leave you in a certain way. You know, you're going to have certain thoughts about the ending, and that's okay. So you guys, that is it for my top 5 favorite time travel TV shows. In the comments below, have you guys seen these particular shows? Maybe there's a show I left off of this list that's your own personal favorite. Just let me know so maybe I can go check it out. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.